Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about A Man Called Otto. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Our main man here, Tom Hanks. I really don't need to explain to you who he is, but we're going to go through his track record anyway. We're not going to go through everything, but I'm just going to cherry pick the important stuff when it comes to the pros, because this man's been in a lot of noteworthy, iconic hits. Like, it's kind of insane. So Big, that's like the first recognizable one. There's that. Turner and Hooch. Let's see, League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Philadelphia, Forrest Gump. That's a big one right there. Apollo 13, Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. Saving Private Ryan, You've Got Mail, The Green Mile, Castaway, Road to Perdition, Catch Me If You Can, Polar Express, Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, Captain Phillips, Bridge of Spies, Sully, there's The Post, and just last year, Elvis. So yeah, lots of hits. And some of these were pretty much just him. Like, he was the main draw for some of these, particularly Sully and Captain Phillips. So I guess Forrest Gump too. Actually, several of these, and especially Castaway, where it was literally just him, pretty much mostly him the whole movie. But yeah, Tom Hanks, he has quite the resume. I mean, he's had some bombs, and I'll get to those when we get to the cons, but he's had enough hits to where you really can't label him as box office poison. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be the main reason why most people watch this movie. So, yeah, Tom Hanks, he's an easy pro in my eyes. So, that's pro number one. Pro number two, this movie it had a limited start in like 4 theaters, and it opened like kind of wide last weekend. And I didn't cover it last week because I knew it would open super duper wide this weekend. So I thought doing it last week would have been pointless. And plus, I would have more numbers to work with. And so that's what I did. So yeah, it was first in 4 theaters, had a 14K per theater average, which isn't great. So that got me thinking, oh boy, we got another Oscar bait fail here. But the next week, where it was in only 600 theaters, it did pretty well, all things considered. It opened with like over $4 million, and it got like 6.5K, which doesn't sound great, but for comparison's sake, The Whale only opened with like $1 million in 600 theaters, and Fableman's opened with 2 million in 600 theaters. I mean, this is a bigger number than Babylon, which was in like way more theaters than this. I think that was like 3,000 plus. So, as on the whole, this doesn't look too bad. I'd say it's a good omen for this weekend, where it expands super duper wide. We're talking like 3,800 theaters. Like Sony are not playing around here. So yeah, I'd say it's okay-ish limited start, and it's pretty decent expansion last weekend. I'd say those are pros. And yeah, so that's pro number two. Pro number three are the reviews. Like, I'm doing this off screen. I have to. And my Wi-Fi went out on my computer. That's fun. um, I'll just ignore it. But I remember the score. I think last I checked, it was like a few hours ago. It was like at 69% critic score, which isn't great. It's not terrible. Far from terrible. But it's not exactly booming. But what is booming is its audience score, which was 97%, which is very, very, very high. So that definitely tells me that this is a crowd pleaser. Which, I mean, if you're a crowd pleaser, then you're kind of guaranteed the print money. I mean, we've seen what crowd pleasing movies of the box office they've made, like No Way Home and Top Gun Maverick. Being just big old success stories. Obviously, the same thing's not going to happen here, but I say, word of mouth is key, and word of mouth seems to be pretty darn spectacular here. So, yeah. So, decent critic score, great audience score, easy pro right there. Another pro is that when it comes to all the movies coming out this weekend, competition isn't too much of an issue because some of the movies this weekend are just going to tank. They're going to be non-issues. But this movie it's different enough to where it can stand out. It can survive alongside Avatar: The Way of Water and Mithrigan and Puss in Boots 2, even Plane. Like, this movie's obviously targeting more of that older audience, and it's targeting, like, I guess kind of middle America in a way, which I say is a good thing, because like if you target that group, the middle America, and you actually put in effort, they will show up. So yeah, I can definitely see this surviving, underneath Avatar 2. So yeah, I don't think competition is a big issue here. And when it comes to just January as a whole, this is probably one of the stronger movies to come out this month. So there won't be anything really serious until like February when we have bigger-ish movies coming out. But yeah, I think competition isn't too much of an issue. So because the target audience is quite different when compared to Avatar 2 and Puss in Boots 2 and Mithrigan. So it'll be fine. So the non-serious competition, I'm going to label that as a pro. I guess I could also mention it's a holiday weekend, it's MLK Jr. weekend. So the 4-day weekend, you can make a little more cash. So that's obviously a good thing. So yeah, that's a pro. And I think that's it. Okay, cons. With Tom Hanks, sure, he's had a lot of hits in his career, but he's also had quite a few bombs, quite a few underperformers in his career. And we're going to go through, I'm going to cherry pick some, at least some of the more important ones. The Lady Killers, that was a real underperformer. I mean, it didn't like bomb super hard, but yeah, this is a low number for Tom Hanks. 39 million domestic, that's pretty low. The Terminal also underperformed a bit. It didn't do awful, but it definitely could have done better considering the pedigree behind it with Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg too directing. It definitely could have done better. What else? Charlie Wilson's War, that was a bit of an underperformer for him, but it wasn't too bad. Larry Crown didn't do too great. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close didn't do great either. Cloud Atlas, a movie I love, did terrible financially, which is a shame, but oh well. Saving Mr. Banks did fine. It just did fine. Inferno did terrible in the States, but it was saved with the overseas, but still, compared to the other movies in the series, like Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code, it's embarrassing. The Circle didn't do well. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood kind of underperformed. News of the World, I'm going to give that one a pass because I had to deal with COVID. So I'm going to give that a pass, but that still didn't do great. Can't comment on Greyhound or Finch or Pinocchio because those were all streaming movies. And yeah. So yeah. Tom Hanks, he's not invincible when it comes to box office. No actor is invincible. Every actor has at least had one flop. one mistake. I can't think of an actor who's had like a straight up flawless track record, unless they were just in one movie and one movie only. But yeah, that's really the only major con I see with this. You know, Tom Hanks's kind of spotty track record, particularly throughout the last decade. But I think this is the type of movie that he probably would thrive in. This is the type of movie people would want to see him in. So it's not a huge issue, but I'm just gonna label Tom Hanks's kind of spotty track record as a con. And I think that's really it. That's like the main thing I could think of. I guess I can mention, Oscar bait movies. They've been a real poison. We've seen that a lot. Like so many examples. It's crazy. The most recent example was Babylon, which was an utter catastrophe financially. This is probably definitely more mainstream friendly than a lot of the Oscar bait movies, which is probably why it's doing better. So, um, yeah, that's kind of a minor con in this case. Okay, now opening weekend. So looking, I didn't even mention. Oh, I had Thursday previews. Drat, I forgot about that. So at Thursday previews at 635,000, which isn't great. I mean, who was expecting big money previews from a movie like this? But it did better than Plane, which is kind of shocking. But yeah, I mean these numbers, they're not great, they're not terrible, they're just meh, considering the genre and the time of the year and all that. But yeah, now right now that's it. So opening weekend. So last week opened with $4 million. I don't see a humongous boost this weekend. I see an increase, but not a big increase. I think it can hit double digits. I think it's definitely possible. So I'm gonna say 10 to 13 million for the 3-day weekend. Actually, I'm gonna go more towards 10. Yeah, 10 for the 3-day weekend. For the 4-day, let's go with 12 to 13. And it's total. That's difficult to say. I could see this having good legs. I could see this pulling was it the Upside back in 2019? That opened with like 20 million and went all the way to 100 million. That's possible. That also really benefited from strong word of mouth, and that was also a January movie. So, mm, I don't know. I'm gonna say somewhere in the range 30 to 50 million. Let's go with that. A wide range, 30 to 50 million. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm sticking with. So yeah. So that's A Man Called Otto. Now we got two more movies to discuss. We got Plane, and we got this movie that I can't pronounce. And that'll be it for the weekend. So yeah. Anywho, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage of all previous prediction videos I've made on the channel. I've only done like a few this year, obviously. Um, but that list is gonna grow real fast. Just give it time. But if you want to watch any of the past prediction videos I made over the last few years, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I've covered Man Called Otto 3 times, I think. Let me see. My internet's working again. It went off for a bit. Uh, yeah, okay, 3 times. The first time was episode 140. I talked about it alongside Insidious 5, 65, and Madam Web. So that was the first time. The second time was episode 161. Yes. I talked about that alongside another movie that came out this weekend, House Party, and also 80 for Brady and another movie, 1001. So that was the second time, episode 161. And the third and final time was episode 168, where I talked about it alongside No Hard Feelings and Asteroid City and True Haunting. So I covered it 3 times. So if you want to watch those 3 episodes or any other cancel episodes I've done, go right ahead. I mean, binge it all from beginning to now. I highly encourage you do that. So go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. Those 2022 recaps, they're coming, but I'm kind of dreading making them because, like, my freaking summer recaps, both of those were like over an hour long. That was pain on my voice. But I'm going to do them. I made a commitment and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go through it. All right. Just give me some time. Give me at least a few days. All right. They will come. I'll let you know when they're coming. So stay tuned. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I've done on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.